It is a myth that there is such a thing called a final discard, but it is also a myth that every narcissist comes back around and hoovers. Narcissism and its associated disorders occur on a spectrum, and every narcissist does not always come back to hoover. Covert narcissists, specifically, are a different type of narcissist. A covert narcissist, it doesn't mean that they are discreet. A covert is a narcissistic type where the person is more reserved than the typical narcissist. Covert, also, it is not a clinical term, but people often use the term to tell between the more outgoing, overt, look at me types and the narcissists who are much less so and who fly under the radar for the most part. They are not overly extroverts, and they are much more difficult to spot than the typical narcissist. Typically, people who encounter covert narcissisms do not know them as such unless they develop a very close relationship with them. And these types are significantly more introverted than normal narcissistic types. Their motivations are also very different. Their flights, unlike a lot of narcissists who are trying to juggle multiple people, are typically not caused by their desire to see other people. And covert narcissists can and do stay in relationships for long periods of time without ever being unfaithful. And that doesn't mean that they're not abusing their partner, though. And while certain types of narcissists do not discard people permanently, covert narcissists actually do have the capacity to do the permanent discards, and they will do that. In fact, they can go to extraordinary lengths to ensure that they can discard a person permanently. Unlike typical narcissists, the covert narcissist experiences extreme fight or flight responses, and when they take flight and run, they run hard and they run fast. They exist in your relationship, as I'm sure you have noticed. They exist in this space where they have one foot in and one foot out of the door of the relationship. And in fact, people who have been in relationships with a covert narcissist have likely noticed that the covert narcissist has tried to leave several times. And covert narcissists do this when things get too overwhelming for them, and running, it is a coping mechanism for them. And you can see this illustrated when you are talking to them about something or confronting them with something that makes them uncomfortable. When they are getting panicky and they want to get out of a conversation, they will do things like walk out of the room while you are talking. They will not look at you while you are talking. They refuse to say anything whenever you ask them a question, even if asked for a response repeatedly. They will move towards the door while you are speaking, turn to the side while you're talking. They'll completely turn their backs on you while you are speaking, intentionally moving farther and farther away from you while you are talking. They'll start watching TV, start looking at their phone, or just start paying attention to doing something while you are speaking to them. And sometimes just continually shake their heads no while you are speaking. All of these things are designed to signal their discomfort and force you to end the conversation. And if those tactics do not force you to stop talking, they may explode in a rage and scream at you to get you to stop talking. It doesn't even really matter what the conversation is about. They just want you to stop saying anything, especially things that are critical of their behavior or something that calls them out for something that they are doing. And they get very angry and extremely upset during these uncomfortable conversations, and they truly believe that they are being misunderstood to the point where they can have real physical reactions such as heart palpitations, fits of anger, high blood pressure. They truly believe that you are the one who is not listening and you are the one who does not get them. And as you can imagine, and as we have all experienced, this is so incredibly frustrating for us and for them, and they will run like the wind because of it. Covert narcissists tend to have extreme problems communicating their feelings to their partners, even though they have thought about their feelings and your possible response to what they are feeling a million times over again. They have these internal conversations to the point where they actually feel like the response they envision you having is real. They may say things like, that they may say that they know what you are going to say before you say it. They may allude to knowing what you are thinking before you have even responded to what they have said. They could cut you off mid-sentence and try to complete that sentence. And they may, in fact, go on an angry tirade about what they thought you were going to say before you even said anything at all. If you interrupt them and tell them you were not going to say whatever it is that they imagined you were going to say, but they just absolutely lose it. And they may do this even though you truly were going to say something completely different than what the covert narcissist envisioned. And they will not back down with this. And when you tell them they are wrong about that, they get even more irate, and they may lay out what they believe your response is going to be before you utter a word, and tell you what they believe you are going to say. And they often believe this even if what they were thinking and your responses are absolutely entirely different, and there is no convincing them otherwise. So typically, a covert narcissist really truly does want to get away and stay away once they have made the decision to discard you. They have gone over the scenario over and over in their heads. They have often gone over different ways the scenario will play out and have calculated what they will do long before you know what is happening. They will lay the internal and external groundwork so that they can facilitate this disconnect for themselves mentally long before the relationship ends. And make no mistake about it, to them, you are the problem. They will work hard to erase you from their lives as if your relationship never happened, as if you never existed. And if they are trying to do a permanent discard, that's often what happens. And typical narcissists, they want to maintain a source of supply. They want to try to stay friends with them or breadcrumb them. But covert narcissists, they see themselves as the true victims and you as the abuser, and they just want out. And please understand that you often won't think things are that bad, because the covert narcissists, they have horrible problems communicating their feelings, and they file things away and hold grudges like none other. While normal people will just tell you whatever they feel that you did is wrong to hurt them and let you respond and resolve the issue and move on. A covert narcissist, they don't do this. Their anger, which has been stewing and brewing, seems so crazy and over the top to their partners when it finally comes out that it's just baffling. It's extraordinary. And the covert has been reliving the nightmare things that you did to offend them over and over and over in their heads, possibly for years. You are doomed, and you don't even know it with a covert narcissist. And please note that it doesn't matter if you did or did not do anything wrong. The covert narcissist perceives your actions the way that they want to, and whatever to them, whatever you did was wrong. And their perception of things is all that matters. Facts do not matter, and they are often unwilling to entertain or try to understand the root cause for why something has happened, especially when it is usually their behavior which may have started the problem. And the bottom line is they will not communicate effectively enough with you to work through the problem that they are having, and they will instead hold it in, get mad about it, and add to the pile of things they have accumulated mentally, and then explode and leave, possibly permanently, at a later point.